Hi, this is Danny. Hope you're doing good. Now, this is a little bit different to my usual content. It's a classical reinterpretation of one of my garage house tunes. So there's a release at the moment, and funny enough, I've called it Release. That's the title of the release. And it has a certain chord progression, and what I'll do is I'll make some time to do a separate video about that. But I was inspired to take those chords and turn them into a classical composition, which very much ended up feeling like a Bond theme. So this video you can see is a series of clips from the film Skyfall, kind of to work in harmony with that piece of music. And it's been a very interesting journey for me because I'm not classically trained, and this has been really an exploration of the different plugins that are available to achieve that kind of sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the instruments that I've used and show you some of the thinking behind the actual composition. And it's interesting, I do feel I'm at an early stage of my experience in this area. It's very different to what I've done electronically before. So firstly, what I want to do is I'm going to bring up one of the key elements, which is this harp. And this is coming from the brand new Kontakt library, the factory library that came with Kontakt Edition 7. And this is a fantastic brand new collection of classical instruments. You can see here that this says harp. I'm going to solo this for you so you can have a listen. Let's go back to the very beginning. And there's a lot of automation occurring on this track. If I take a look over here, and you can see the volume over time is increasing. And what I was trying to do is to try to avoid this thing essentially sounding static. Okay, so there's a certain amount of movement with the volume occurring. You can see it dips down, and one of the reasons for this is because I've got a new set of instruments that are coming in. I wanted to give them a bit of space. So let's bring some of the others in context. Now there's another instrument here, and I'm naming these to make it very clear as to what they are. This isn't a sample pack with, pre-built melodic elements. I'm literally playing this stuff in. This, by the way, is the chords that I played in, but actually running through an arpeggiator. You can see this in the bottom left-hand side. So that creates that plucking motion for the harp. Now, something different here is this cello. Okay, so let me bring this up and we can take a listen as well. This is the new cello instrument here. And one of the things that I felt on listening to this was that the dynamics, if I increased the level there, it felt like it was much richer. In hindsight, I think I should have modulated this over time, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. This, by the way, is rooted naturally to the modulation wheel on your keyboard, so it can be expressive as part of the performance. And if there's anything that's a learning for me, it's about trying to incorporate more of those expressive elements into the performance, really to try. It's very difficult to get something that actually sounds authentically classical because a room full of musicians creates a very unique sound, so it's very difficult to replicate that. So let's listen to these two elements, the harp and the cello. And in fact, this is very much a foundation of the composition, these two. And they sound fantastic together on their own. And if you're going to have questions about the composition, personally, I can't answer those. I do everything by ear, okay? So I'm not following any conventions with regards to musical scales or keys. It's everything that sits in my head and just kind of manifests itself. But I have been listening to music for so long, and my head is full of this stuff. And it kind of evolves. As I'm building a composition, the notes that I think I want to hear start appearing in my head. So then what I do is I go on the keyboard, I try to find them. If I can't find them, sometimes I even paint the notes in. So it's a mixture of different things. But let me talk about the expressiveness here. Okay, so you see this dynamics control. Let's take away the harp. Let's have a listen to the cello on its own. Now, you can hear the same notes, but they're not quite as rich. And you see when I move that slider, they become richer. By default, I've just kind of left them all at the same dynamic level. I do feel in retrospect that it would have been good to have automated those and potentially in order to keep the volume level a bit more consistent, because you can see that that really impacts the volume as well. Possibly compress, but the problem is compressing is not really a very good thing to do with classical. Really, we're trying to keep those natural performances in there. But really, for the overall impact, potentially just having it on max is the way it needs to be, okay? But it's just an observation. So I've got those elements working together. So these are two Kontakt instruments. The next one is a series of low strings. I'll bring it in so we can listen to this. So I'll do this bit by bit. I brought these in because I wanted some weight in the composition. Okay, so some bottom end, because the thing is it wasn't very bassy. Let's listen to these on their own. Once again, a Kontakt instrument. So this is the basses, and it's in that factory library, the brand new one for Kontakt 7. And actually, thinking about this, I remember I had this on max. And actually, I was thinking to myself earlier, it didn't sound as bassy as I remembered, but this is a reason. I should have put that in as automation. So this is corrected now. That's more the richness that was there on the original recording. So you can see how much of an impact this slider makes. It really does adjust the energy of the sound. So that's played in to add some bottom end, some bass. We've got another instrument over here. This is from the Steinberg Halion. And this has also got some great classical instruments in it. And I was just auditioning different things for different purposes, and I found something that actually had an arpeggiator in here. And this is a rhythmic cello. It's called choppy cello. Have a listen to this. This is another very distinctive element of the composition. Bring this in with the others. So already you're starting to see the importance of the arpeggiations in this. The sustained notes are there, but the tools are creating the rhythmic motion. So in some respects, it's almost cheating, but it allowed me to put this thing together very, very quickly. And for me, the results, I'm happy with them. Yes, potentially it could be good to randomize the timing of some of those notes to make it sound a bit more natural, because if anything, this is sounding quite robotic. Okay, but it's, as I said, it's a learning experience for me, and I will certainly evaluate the experience here and make some changes potentially going forward. I'm going to move the flute down actually, because that's something that happens at the very end. Let's take a look at the next set of instruments coming through. So these are tremolo strings coming from Halion again. So studio strings is the library. Just going to take the media bay away here. Let's focus on the instrument itself. And why did I pick these? I just like the sound of them. Tremolo strings have subtle movement in them. You know, so there's a very, very kind of, it's like a rhythmic vibration. You see violin players, they'll be moving their fingers on the bow, and that adds a certain texture. So this is coming in, and also I try to emulate the idea of the strings kind of rising in energy. I don't think that is particularly successful, but it was an attempt, and I think overall in the complete composition it does work. But if you had kind of scrutiny here from proper classical players, they would probably be saying that sounds terrible. So another area for me to explore in terms of improvement. Okay, so that's there at that very specific point. Then there is another set of strings coming in here, and you'll see the automation, they're gradually coming up. And this is because we're getting towards the end of the composition, and actually the composition does integrate a tempo change. Going to bring this down here, and you'll see this. So I take the tempos slower to add deliberate impact to the end of the piece here, and then there are new elements that come through. The other thing whilst I'm here is that there is deliberate tension created by a high string, and this is automated as well. So the tension arrives and then goes. Very important in this kind of a composition to have these variations. The instrument that I used for this particular sound is over here, violins. So let's just do a recap. Let's solo on these two. So as I said, this is as we head towards the end. Gradually coming up, let me bring the tension string back. So we're now going through the automation to slow down the tempo. And a kind of resolution sort of chord, something that ends it. You can really see that here. The notes are different to what we've had in the progression before. The other thing I'm going to bring on at this moment in time is the flute, because as we're slowing down and getting to this end point, the flute is the transitional mechanism for that. And this is another one that I need to bring the dynamics up on. I should have recorded this in as automation. When I rendered the track, it was actually with those at max. Have a listen to the impact, the difference that makes. And that is a fantastic flute patch. Another one in the Kontakt 7 library, the new factory library 2. Very, very worthwhile, that library. It's made a big difference to me, for sure. So let's just keep focused on these ending moments. There are also some orchestral percussion instruments that I haven't shown you so far. Let's just take a brief look at these. Once again, Kontakt Factory Library 2, the timpani here. That's something that is a tuned drum sound. I'll show you. So that's a note you can hear in there. And different notes here and over here. So that's a great thing about the timpanis. They have this kind of pitch, and you can use those to add dramatic interest at certain points. Another thing is there's this timpani roll, and you hear that at the very beginning of the composition. And that conveniently is provided in one of the original Kontakt Factory Library instruments, timpani rolls. And it's literally just a sustained note. And there's essentially kind of like a recording of someone playing the timpani in that fashion, with the mallets very, very quickly creating a crescendo. Of course, you could program something similar, but for convenience, I just quickly used that. Orchestral cymbal as well, just to add dramatic interest at certain points. Once again, from the Kontakt Factory Library 2. And this is cymbals. Honestly, that library has made a huge, huge difference to this composition. Made it sound, to me, a lot more realistic than had I used some others. Okay, so let's just reflect back on that end section then. I'll have all of these elements playing at the same time. I'm going to minimize this. Of course, there's one thing that I didn't show you. It's this mallet sound at the end. And I wanted to create a sense of mystery at the very end. So this melody that I'm playing here was something that I literally heard in my head when I'd created this particular ending chord. And I'll play that for you now so you can hear that. Rising in volume, designed to complement the elements that you hear here. So that feels mysterious to me, and that was what I wanted to end on, in terms of the journey of this composition. The other thing that's really important to point out now is that on my master, yes, I've got Ozone doing some mastering here, but it's subtle. I'm not even going to go into that. What I want to draw your attention to is the use of this plugin here. This is Realm, which is my favorite reverb, and this is coming from Native Instruments. And what it's doing here is providing the sense of the auditorium that the orchestra is playing in. Now, I wanted this thing to sound quite expansive and spacious, and particularly you'll hear that at the very, very end. You listen to that really beautiful decay. Let me take this off so you can hear the difference. Now, some might argue that that's better and more authentic. But, I wanted the space here. It's interesting when you do listen back to things after having space from them, because this was composed a while back, you do get a sense of, okay, different perspective. I'm hearing this differently. And maybe, just maybe, I just reduced the mix down a bit. So, sometimes it's good to be critical of yourself and to reflect on things. And just a couple of other things to point out. I'm running it through tape. What I wanted to do was to create a sense of pitch instability, almost to make it sound like it was an old piece of music off of a record or something. And of course, the textures are not the same as a record, but this is using the control here, speed, stability, and running it down to tape, I feel gives a sense of kind of gelling things together. I switched the noise on as well, so it feels slightly older. So just some conscious decisions. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this tour. As I said, this area of composition is relatively new for me, and it's an area of great interest. And what I might do is try to do classical interpretations of my forthcoming releases, because it's a very, very interesting thing for me. I'm very interested in it, and I'm going to see if I can develop the ability to make things sound a bit more realistic. And if anybody here is watching this and has some experience, some really good experience in programming classical music and making it sound authentic, please, I'm really, really keen to find out more. So please put some info down in the comments if you can. And the song itself, well, it's not a song, is it? It's a piece of music. It's an instrumental. It's available on streaming platforms. I will put a link down in the description, and people will be able to go and have a listen. Yeah, okay. Anyway, thank you.